For centuries, the ultimate goal of humanity was physical discovery. Great explorers like Zhang Xian, the pioneer of the Silk Road. Christopher Columbus, who initiated lasting contact with the Americas. These men and women climbed the highest mountains, crossed the deepest oceans, with nothing but a compass at hand and the stars above. Each new journey marked our maps with half-guessed coastlines, whispered mountain ranges, and endless, terrifying oceans marked with sea monsters. And today, every inch of our physical world is marked by satellites. We've charted multiple planets, we've put rovers on Mars, and yet I still get lost in my own neighborhood without the help of the blue dot on the online maps. Because the physical world is so full, we become obsessed with the tangible. We measure our lives by the things we can hold and see. The newest devices, the perfect aesthetic, the materialistic trophies we scroll past on social media every single day. But the truth is, the discoveries that actually define our lives are entirely intangible. You can't mark the exact place where a stranger turns into a best friend, and you certainly can't take a photo of the most difficult discovery of all, the slow, messy, and painful process of understanding our own emotions. Our generation has done an amazing job at this. Because of the push for mental health awareness, with the help of the internet, we have a vocabulary for our feelings that previous generations never had. We know how to map our inner world. We talk openly about our traumas. We set boundaries, and we value emotional intelligence as a core skill. We finally turned the invisible into something we can name. That's progress. But social media is a double-edged sword. It gave us the tools to discover ourselves, but it's also trapped us in echo chambers. It works like a feedback loop. The more we discover and post about our specific worldview, the more the algorithm feeds us people who already think exactly like us. And because we spend so much time marinating in identical perspectives, something strange happens. We start to believe that our perspective isn't just a valid way to see the world, it's the only way. Slowly, almost without noticing, we stop discovering new perspectives. We lose the ability to navigate the gray areas between right and wrong. We lose the curiosity of the maps of other people's minds. And that's the really dark side I've noticed to all of this self-discovery. Once we finally get a good grasp on our own emotions, we often turn deeply cynical. We treat emotional intelligence like a weapon rather than a bridge. I've been there, looking at someone whose inner map is still full of blank spaces, a classmate who is loud, a sibling who's reactive. And instead of helping them, I lost my patience. I learned the labels, so I started using them to categorize people instead of understanding them. I said, they should know better by now. I labeled a moment of insecurity as a red flag. I remembered the faint, smug satisfaction that came with it, the feeling of having correctly diagnosed someone. I learned the labels, and I confused them with understanding. I felt righteous. If any of that sounds familiar, even just a little, then you know exactly what I'm about to describe next. If someone makes a mistake, handles a conflict poorly, or is just working from an inner world that is still full of blank spaces, we don't give them grace. We give up on them. We label them as toxic. We cancel, we block, we cut people off. We refuse to give second chances, forgetting that we were once messy and emotionally clumsy too. We've turned emotional intelligence into a velvet rope policy for the soul. We vet people. We check for the right vocabulary, the right trauma responses, the right level of self-awareness at the door. And if they don't have it, we leave them out in the cold, convinced they don't belong. But emotional intelligence was never supposed to be an exclusive club with a strict guest list. It's a map. One of those old hand-drawn maps, built with half-guessed coastlines and deliberate blank spaces. A map we're meant to unfold, mark up, pass around, and share with everyone still trying to navigate their own inner world. But instead of handing out compasses, we're guarding the entrance. But let me tell you something about those old hand-drawn maps. The best cartographers in the world didn't fill every blank space with imaginary monsters. They left generous blank patches and wrote the words terra incognita, or unknown land. And here's what I find beautiful. They didn't look at the blankness with contempt. They looked at it with wonder. It wasn't a failure. It was a frontier. And I think we need to borrow that humility. Because when we encounter the unknown territory in another person, the parts of them still unhealed, still messy, still reactive, we treat it like imaginary monsters instead of terra incognita worth exploring with compassion. And over time, we've let that instinct curdle into a culture of exclusion, where emotional intelligence has become a membership test rather than a shared act of navigation. We spent so much time discovering how to protect our own peace that we've forgotten how to make peace with the flaws of others. So, if the physical world is already fully discovered, what is the new frontier? It's not just about discovering who we are. It's about discovering the patience to let other people be works in progress. It's about looking at someone who's still struggling to process their own emotions, and instead of turning cynical, offering them the grace of a second chance. The most valuable thing you'll ever discover in this life isn't a place, and it certainly isn't a product. It's the ability to look past the screen, step out of your echo chamber, and realize that everyone is just trying to navigate their own inner map. We've already discovered the world. Now, it's time we discover how to accept each other. Thank you.